Really personally interested in healing in my 20s. I was back in the 60s when everybody was involved with raising consciousness, healing our hearts. Went from the TM days of being with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, a transcendental meditation teacher, personal secretary, lived with him for 9 years as a celibate monk. Then I went into, that was an era. And then the 70s, the 80s, I went into, got a PhD in counseling. Started improving communication. I wanted relationships after being a monk for so many years. And it was a wonderful time in my life. Got married, had a family, and really all my teachings come from my own personal needs. I wanted to have a very successful marriage, so I started learning about what makes a relationship work. And I did, and I was able to transfer that on to other people. I think my early years of meditation really helped me in giving me an objectivity to things and a very positive spiritual perspective, which is everything is ideally needs to be viewed from a positive point of view. Then I was able to look at the differences between men and women in a positive point of view, with men are from Mars, women are from Venus. In the past, everybody knew men and women were really different, but they never had anything good to say about the differences. And I came along to say, hey, it's all good. It's God's grace. It's viva la difference. This is what makes the world go round. So, achieving lots of success in teaching that area, I also used to teach success workshops, which involved learning to meditate, self-healing, healing the heart. But what became most popular was the ideas of men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So I focused primarily on that. Then around 1992, I became blind in this eye. I went to the doctors. I went to 16 specialists. Nobody could heal it. A big problem, and it was a big problem. So I decided, okay, if they can't do it, I'll seek out alternative healers. So with the means that I had and the success I achieved, I was able to contact and travel around the world easily, visiting and getting the greatest healers. And so in my travels, experiencing this energy, I found that if you can be healed, you can also heal somebody else. Once you experience it happen to you, my visions come back. If you can be healed, you go, hey, this really works. So then you have the confidence to go out and heal other people. And in my style, I've been able to take something which was esoteric and complex and put it in very simple terms. So over the last 9 years, I've been developing a whole healing teaching, which teaches people how to heal themselves and literally how to heal other people as well.
So what's the source of healing? What's the bottom line of the healing?
Well, there's a variety of ways of doing healing on people. We're talking healing the heart, we're talking healing the body, healing cancer, healing rashes in your body, healing arthritis in your body, healing lower back pain, chronic pain, been in an accident, pain for 10 years, sometimes in 10 minutes, gone. People walk out, they can't believe it. It's literally miraculous, unbelievable. And so there's many, many ways. Other healers do all kinds of things. In the Philippines, I went to healers there. I went to the healers in Hawaii, the kahunas, in Mexico, the shamans, in Peru. Throughout America, there's a huge amount of healers. Reiki healing, wonderful healing techniques. In Europe, a whole variety of esoteric healing practices, as well as very modern healing practices. India, there's a huge healers here because they haven't relied so much on medicine, so they had to have healers.
So connection between all these different healing modalities?
Well, what I found is, again, to synthesize. Basically, they're all different approaches, shaking a rattle, praying to someone, doing this, whatever. But the bottom line is we're all doing the same thing. And everybody's doing it anyway. If you're a healthy person, you're already healing yourself all the time. You're doing certain things in your life that allow healing energy to flow in your body. We'll call it life force. I call it natural energy. See, if you're in an unnatural environment with fluorescent lights and computers around you and technology around you all the time, you start vibrating at that rate, and you stop vibrating at the rate of being in nature. So you see in these ceremonies here, there's fire, and there's waters, and there's oils, and there's smells, and you're out in the air, and there's animals going by and drinking water. These are all natural ingredients. When we're around natural ingredients, the natural energy, we resonate with it. Just like if you hit a C chord on the piano, the C note on a guitar will resonate. If you intensify your experience of nature, then the natural healing power within you becomes awakened. So as a healer, and I've trained literally hundreds of healers who all do miraculous healings just like I can do. And other healers do as well. What they're doing, in some way, whatever, they're able to relax their minds to get back to the natural state, the relaxed state, a state which is free of stress and distress. Then they connect with the natural energy. whether it be the fire or the water or flowers. I use a lot of roses in my work. The rose is a very healing influence. Connecting with that energy, once you can feel this energy, which I can teach anybody in one day how to feel the energy, it comes right in through your fingertips. You pull it in through your fingertips. If you can feel it, you can just pull it in. Just like I can raise my hand up, I can pull energy in my fingertips. As soon as I pull in extra energy in my fingertips, if somebody's sick, I can send that energy into them. This energy can be even measured with a meter. I've got a meter at home. I can aim at it, and the meter goes up. It's magnetic energy, which when it hits the body turns to more electric energy. So what happens is people have miraculous healings. Now, not everybody gets the same kind of healing, but pain relief is one of the easiest things. People have to have, the healer has to be able to connect with the energy. The client has to be open to receive it. And for maximum healing, you have to open yourself to the higher power, the greater power. And that's where you bring God's power in. And for some people go, what is this God? It's very simple to understand the God I'm talking about. It's the God of every single religion, every single name. It's the one God. It's the one force that gives us all life. Jesus said it beautifully. When the rabbi questioned Jesus and said, who is this God you talk to who's like your father? He said, this is a God you cannot see. He's invisible. Not even he. God is invisible. Like the wind. You don't doubt the wind because you can feel it blowing on your face. Likewise, this God I talk to is invisible. But when you call and you get the response, then you know that God is always listening. God is always answering our prayers. And when people pray a lot and they're sick, what it means is not their prayers weren't answered. It means that they weren't able to receive their answers. And that's what I really love to heal somebody who's done a lot of prayer in their life, because it's like they've been praying, getting the results, and they're all waiting for that person to be able to open up and receive it. And that's the gift of going to a healer. The healer just touches you or even thinks and sends the energy to you that you've already drawn to yourself. But anybody, whether they've done a lot of prayer or not, the healing energy is available in infinite supply for anybody at any time once they learn how to tap it, to turn the switch and let it flow in. So from this perspective, it's not really miraculous. It only seems miraculous because we've been suffering from pain for 10 years. We're on drugs and medications and all this stuff, and nothing seems to help. And in 10 minutes, it's gone. Why is it gone? It's like a little baby crying. Pain is only a baby crying. The baby's saying, Mommy, come, hold me. That's all it takes. Pull the energy to me. And the healer comes and touches the pain, and the pain goes away. It just wants to be heard. Hear me. And what's actually happening on a physiological level is the energy which is not moving in the body. It's just blocked energy pain. You put the hand there, the energy flows in, the energy flows through their body, the pain goes away. It's an amazing process. And what's so exciting is this time we're living in is that there truly is a huge shift that's happened on the planet. I've been teaching meditation for over 28 years. I know how people progress in meditation. What took me 25 years to achieve, usually 12 hours a day minimum meditating in my first 10 years, then 4 or 5 hours a day after that. I'm an expert, master of meditation. What it took me 25 years to achieve, I can teach anybody to experience and have in one day. Now this change started 3 years ago.
What's the focus of that work, your work there for that one day? What do you focus on?
Oh, well, it's in my personal success workshop, my healing workshop. What I teach people is first how to understand what the natural energy is. It's all around us. Have you ever noticed that rich people, successful people, always go on vacations? They go on lots of vacations. They surround themselves with beautiful exotic places, with lots of water, lots of sunshine, lots of fresh air, and somehow they're more successful than everybody. And go to the places where there's the least success. Go to the ghettos. There's nothing green. There's nothing alive. It's all concrete. There's nothing beautiful. So what's missing? That's what's missing, the beauty of nature. We have to connect with it. And just going to nature, spending time in nature will help keep people healthier. But learning how to actually feel that energy and then control it. See, you command it, you direct it, you just pull it in. Just like my body's nature. I lift my arm, it goes up. I can pull the energy in, I can send the energy out. It's a very easy process to do. It's not complicated, but a person has to be capable of doing it. Like a 13-year-old is not yet capable of doing algebra until one day. One day the change happens in their brain. One little switch occurs, and suddenly a 13-year-old, if it has a good teacher, can learn algebra. No matter how good the teacher is, prior to that day, the student can't learn.
So that's happening for the planet in a way.
It's a global shift. Right now, I've not met one person. I teach hundreds of thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands of people I've taught. And in the last year, over 30,000 people. Personally, in my groups. And I have people experience this right then. It's like, and I've been teaching 28 years. Never could groups experience that before. I couldn't even experience it before. Now anybody can do it. But it does take learning from a teacher who has it. It's like, in a sense, this capacity, like learning algebra. Around puberty, right after puberty, a change takes place in the brain. You now have the capacity to develop abstract thinking. If you don't have a good teacher to help you develop it, you never develop it. And you never even know you have that ability.
So talk about people like Swami Kaleshwara. What's the significance of someone like that on the planet?
Well, Swami Kaleshwara is my best friend. When I was seeking healers and so forth, I went around. My eyes were pretty much healed about that time. And then a friend told me that Swami Kaleshwara is in town, and that he, a young saint from India, and that he had miraculous powers, and he would demonstrate them. He doesn't just do it like tricks, but as a healing for someone. It's part of the healing process for him. If you do something which is out of the ordinary, that people can't explain, like a manifesting of the ash. This ash just comes right out of nowhere. He just goes like this, and ash comes out. When you see that, you go, wow, there's more to life than I know. What that does is it opens someone up. And when their mind, which is narrow, opens to the possibilities that there's more, then you can pull in more healing energy. And that's why he does it. There's no value itself in the ash, except that it shows someone that there's an invisible force that he calls, and it produces ash. There's a variety of other miracles that I've watched him do. I've just watched him do it. All I can say is I don't know how he does it. He does it. It's his powers. There's lots of people here, like 10 or 15 that I've met here in India that can do this. They have wonderful healing effects. For me, the real practical thing, and I'm a practical person, is that I'm sitting there with a woman in a hospital, a 70-year-old woman who just had a stroke and can't move her body. And this man takes a little string, calmly says a prayer for 1 minute, wraps it around her string, and the next day she's completely moving her arms and she's fine. And the doctors say it's impossible. That's the kind of stuff I've seen him do. I've seen myself do that now. People are blind. I had the vision problems. I'm very good at people's vision. They're blind. They bring their eyesight back. Now if I've never done somebody who's never seen, but one woman started seeing. She's gradually developing. She never saw out of one eye. But she's seeing colors now and starting to see forms. But generally if eyes go out, it's generally because there's an accumulation of stress in their life. It's accumulation of stress, unresolved distress that causes most of our sicknesses, wear and tear in the body. And what a healer can do easily, 10 minutes is all it takes in the system I teach. In other systems, they're also wonderful systems that take about half an hour, some are an hour, some are 5 hours, whatever. They're all delicious, though. I personally like to go to all the different kinds of healers. It's just like you go get a nice massage, you might go to an acupuncturist. These are all like luxuries of life. Why not taste all the possibilities that exist? And there's never any one better, right way. It's really like going in a department store, and what's your preference? What do you like? What feels good to you? And this natural healing, energy healing, doesn't in any way conflict with medicine. Medicine is incredible, miraculous discovery. What they can do is unbelievable. But every doctor will tell you it would be wonderful if all people could benefit from their practices, because they know they give pills to some people, it works.
Why don't people benefit?
No matter what kind of medicine you give to someone, if their body doesn't have the substance it needs to heal, the natural energy, if it's not flowing in the body, it can't recover. So for some people, they get the medication, they get the treatment, it works. Other people, it doesn't work.
So the key to moving natural energy is what?
Well, there's 4 aspects of natural energy healing. In any kind of healing, really, has to do with the healer, has to do with the healee, and has to do with the divine energy that you pull in. Has to do with my relationship with the divine energy, my ability to send that energy. If you're the person being healed, has to do with your ability to receive from me. You have to like me. Oh, John, what a wonderful person. Your heart has to be open to me, and your heart has to be open to God. When you have those 4 elements, you get maximum healing. If you have a little less of one, a little bit more in others, fine. What makes Swami Kaleshwara, I've watched him and seeing all the healers around the world. I've never seen such profound, instantaneous, miraculous healings with him. That's why he's my friend anyway, but I'm rather impressed with what he does. And I come to India to visit him quite often. He's kind of to me like a piano teacher. When I was 45, I decided, hey, I always wanted to play piano. I'd get a piano teacher and start playing piano. And then he came into my life. I said, well, I think rather than play piano, I'd rather learn what he does. So he teaches me his tradition. But what's beautiful about this man, who's Swami Kaleshwara, he doesn't want to teach Westerners his tradition. He says, this is what we do, you do what you want to do. But he's very open about all the secrets and whatever he's known. He's revealed everything to me, which is quite wonderful, things that only the very, very top healers know. Why was it kept secret? Because imagine I'm a calculus teacher, and you're not even ready to learn algebra. I can't teach you calculus. If I try to, you'll just feel inadequate. Even if you're not ready for algebra, if I try to teach you algebra, you'll just feel, inadequate. Just add, multiply. Jesus is, again, a beautiful example of this message. He spoke to the people and he said, you can't understand the truth. You're not ready. But that's why I talk to you in parables. I tell you stories. And one day you'll be able to understand. It's like a teacher saying to a child, one day you'll understand geometry and algebra, but right now you just can't.
So you think this
is the time. This is the time when people now, every person has within them the capacity to understand the truth within themselves. This is why so many people pulled away from religion. They don't want somebody preaching to them. They want to know what's true inside themselves, and they're going to follow that truth inside their hearts, and they're going to follow their hearts, they're going to follow their truth. At the same time, this doesn't mean we have to back off from religions. I encourage people, once you pull in and you find your truth in your heart, go back and you'll start hearing the truth in whatever religion you go to. It's just different outfits. It's the same God, it's the same message, and different expressions, which you should go to according to your likes and your preferences. But it's silly and absurd to measure my tradition is better than somebody else's tradition. But it's appropriate to say whatever my tradition is might be the best for me, but not necessarily for everybody. That's absurd. It's ridiculous. And we're learning that in all forms of education. It's like to teach all children in the same style would be completely destructive. At least 9 different teaching styles to children, depending upon what their capacity is, how they develop, whether they're more mental, whether they're more emotional, whether they're more active, and so forth. We have a huge epidemic of ADD in America, attention deficit disorder, and so forth. One of the primary causes, children are different. And you put them in a classroom, these kids, without enough stimulation and variety. They need variety. They need to be able to do different things. You put them in one mode, no way are they going to be able to become healthy and whole. We have to teach according to the style of the student. Likewise, there's so many different pathways, and for some people, what our journey is to taste them all. For some people, our journey is to just taste one. There's no right or wrong with it.
But you think someone like Swami Kaleshwara coming to the planet, he's opening up new pathways for the masses to learn? Do you think there's some connection there?
Swami's a lovely teacher, and Swami has developed an ability. It's very easy when people see him do some of these miracles to think he's somehow above human. He's not at all. He's my good buddy. He's just a guy just like me. And he's a funny guy. We have a lot of fun times. We have adventures. We travel around. He's just like any other guy I know. And he has an ability. See, this is the big mistake people make, is they think just because somebody has an ability I don't have, they must have everything. And he doesn't. He's a wonderful human person. He's got his own limitations, his own problems, just like everybody else. He feels pain just like everybody else, but he has his specialty. His specialty is doing miraculous type things to create wonder and openness in people and to send divine energy into them. He talks to the angels. It's a lovely thing to be with him. Since knowing him, he's introduced me to angels. They come to me. And not just angels. When I heal primarily, Mother Mary comes to me. Once I learned to feel the energy, I just call her. And you know how I started calling her? It's a very funny story. I was learning piano, and the song I was learning was the Beatles song. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So I love that song, and I'm playing that song. Also, I happen to have a huge statue, a marble statue of Mother Mary in my office overlooking me. I just always feel drawn to her. Anyway, she started coming. One night I was healing. I had so many people to heal, and everybody wanted it, and I was tired. It was taking longer. So I was too tired to do it. I said, please, Mother Mary, come, do the healing. And that was the night where the miraculous healing started happening for me. I just put my hands, people with legs that weren't healing were walking. One woman with MS couldn't even walk in her body. Feet started tingling. Now 6 months later, or 6 months later after that, she wrote me and said, now I'm dancing with my husband. Her whole life has changed. Mother Mary came through to heal. So there's other healers on the other planes that will come as well if you choose to do it that way. In my first instructional course on natural energy healing, I teach people just to learn the natural elements. Just using the natural elements, use those. It's very basic. It's very similar to what Swami Kaleshwara teaches people, how to connect with the energies of nature and use those to heal yourself, to find peace of mind, to find relaxation, to find creativity, to increase your attractive power. See, one of the reasons I'm so successful in life, I know it. It's all written in my book, How to Get What You Want What You Have, soon to come out in my book, Practical Miracles. It's when people have more, it's because they're doing something to get more. And part of it is magnetism. I'm a magnet. People are drawn to me. I just look around. Who is that guy? What does he say? You know, it's magnetism. And I know how I develop magnetism. You have to meditate. You meditate. You learn a certain kind of meditation to develop magnetism. You can have one kind of meditation for peace. You see, I know lots of friends, and I did these kind of meditations, who meditate, and they have all this peace in their life. But they have no money. They have no success. They have no partners. They're all just peaceful. I mean, see, the thing about it is if you just get stuck with one tool, one technique, you get that. You have peace, but that's all you get. Who wants just peace? How about a little joy, excitement, energy like that? You know, how about some love, some passion, great sex? These are all parts of life. This is a beautiful part of the spiritual message of the new millennium. Every part of life is here to be enjoyed. Sacrifice, giving up is no longer the way to God. We are there. People got to wake up. We are there. This is it. There's nothing more to go up. It's now to bring the energy down, bring the energy into life, bring God's heaven into this world. And that's what we're here to do. I spent my younger years fasting, meditating, giving up. So finally I could experience this divine experience. Well, in one day people can do it. Not a big deal. All they have to have somebody who's there who can waken it, just like a jumper cable. If your battery's dead, it's not really wounded, it's just not running. You just put a jumper cables, turn on the engine, 10 minutes, they're gone, they're ready to go. When I do an instant healing, it's not that everything always gets healed right in that moment. What happens is the switch turns on so their body can start healing. See, a healthy person gets sick. I still get, well, I don't really get much sick, but some people, you get sick, a lot of stress and wear and tear, you get sick. Then what do? Your body heals itself. And some people, it doesn't heal themselves. When the body stops healing itself, then little sicknesses turn into big sicknesses like cancer. Cancer is definitely not a natural sickness. Cancer is when your body stops healing itself. Arthritis is the rigidity that happens when you stop flowing with life. Every disease comes from the lifestyle we live, the way we interact with life, and it can all be healed, or it can be helped, we'll put it that way. I mean, some people have just done irreparable damage to their bodies, and it's good to cast this one off and go for another one.
But people like you and Swami have somehow more of a direct connection to the divine that other people don't have, right?
Well, Swami's dedicated his life to divine. He doesn't just, he claims, I've never seen this, but he claims he sits and talks to angels. They appear right in front of him. For me, they don't appear with my eyes open. I'm healing someone, and it's like a big burst of light comes, tingling energy. It's quite magical. My hair stands on end on my legs, and all of it goes all the way up my body, and the energy comes through. It takes about 30 seconds. Done. That was the healing. You know, when the angels come, they just come fast. There's a whole other thing where they actually come when you're so attuned to that divine energy. You call, and they actually appear in front of you. And you know, and people might think, well, this is so far out. How can I believe that? Well, it's throughout all history. Look at how the ancient, go to the Louvre, you'll see all the pictures of the angels, and you hear the stories. The angel came, the angel spoke, the angel said. These things happen, and they're happening still. It's not everybody's common experience, because they're busy doing this and this and this and this and this. Just like learning to play tennis, it takes practice. Learning to make money in the world, it takes practice. Learning to sing, you can be gifted and talented, but you still have to practice, and you have to have a singing coach. Be an athlete, tremendous training. A boxer, tremendous training. You have to train and train and train and train and train and punch, and then you're in shape. That's the same thing with divine powers. Anybody can do it. You just have to train. You have to do certain things. And his whole life has been dedicated to that. My whole life hasn't been dedicated to that. My life is dedicated to being a spiritual person, being a happily married husband, being a father, being a happy-go-lucky guy, being rich. You know, I like it all. And great sex, you know, these are all very important elements of life. And I go for the whole picture.
Yeah, he was born with a certain facility, a certain talent for that.
He was naturally gifted. At 13 years old, he started just healing people. Just touching snake bites, people dying of cobra bites, touch, and they'd be healed. Now, I personally have experience with that myself. Part of one of my experiences here in India, a woman was dying, had been bitten by a cobra, and he had me heal her instead of him heal her, and I did it right then. And it was my first big healing like that. And part of when you heal, miraculous healing, you go one step beyond. In my natural energy healing process, I teach people the 2 basic steps. One is you send energy in, and that's the beginners, and that's what most healers use, basically. And now in this new millennium, people can upgrade their power to a new level, because the next level up, the thing that the really great healers do, is you don't just send energy in. You take out the stress. You take out the pain. You take it right out of them, and it goes into your body. Well, most healers are all sick because of that. They don't even know they're doing it. If they're really powerful, they all get sick. It's amazing how sick they are. I'm not sick at all. I'm completely healthy, wonderful, happy, energetic. I'm 48 years old. I feel like I'm 25. Where? Because I've learned when I take the energy out, just like I can take it out of somebody, I can send it out of me. So I use the fire. I used to burn some candles. I always have flowers around me, roses around me, and the roses just suck it in. They just take that energy right out. I send it into them. Like I can send the positive energy in. I can take out the stress, the distress, the pain, or the sickness. I can take the energy of it. See, I take that out with my hands. It comes through my fingertips, the energy comes in, and then I just send it right out into the flowers. As easy as I can pull it in, I can send it out. And I know so many healers who get sick and they've got all these problems, and counselors, of course. You know, I've trained over 500 counselors in the Mars-Venus approach, and they don't get all stressed out, or they don't burn out, because they all learn how to decharge. I call it decharging. Recharge is to feel more power, pull it in, so you're dynamic. See, like right now, I'm robust, I'm powerful, I'm creative, I'm dynamic. I sit down, I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I write for 12 hours, and I take my kids to school, you know, or pick them up from school, whatever. You know, that's having dynamic energy. That energy comes, it's available to everybody. I used to sleep late, I used to I was an easygoing guy, but once I learned how to just, hey, I want more energy. You just call and you get it. You learn how to suck it in, draw it in like a straw, like that, through your fingertips. And then what happens is you help people, you're doing this, you're doing that. You collect, you gather stress. It comes to you. It's like wearing all white in a dirty area, in a polluted city. You're going to collect more pollution. Something about if you're completely clean, you gather more dirt. If you're already dirty, you don't notice it. So when you're completely washed, if you're raising your consciousness up, then what happens is the stress comes to you. That's why a lot of women get cancer. Their hearts are open. They're more giving, and then they absorb the stress and distress. As easy as they absorb it, if they can absorb it, I can teach them to send it out very easily. But it does take training, and it takes awakening. That's the whole principle, is that if you want to shift levels of power, you need to be in the presence of somebody who has that power. If I want to hear the C note, awaken the C note, I have to push a C note. And I go, oh, that's what the C note stands for. I could spend my whole life trying to figure out what a C note is, whereas somebody who's already spent their whole life, who had somebody else who spent their whole life, who learned to turn to that channel of energy. So Swami has dedicated his life to developing certain channels of energy, high frequencies, and just hanging out with him, doing healings with him, learning, asking what he does. Gradually, that energy, I could tune into that same level of miraculous healing power. But I can do it to anybody. I didn't have any special gift for this. You know, I wasn't a big healer as a kid. I was a little kid.
Is sexual energy a key to healing?
You can heal without sexual energy, but what happens is if you don't experience sexual fulfillment in your life, a certain level of power is diminished. I know some healers who don't experience sex in their lives, and they're very great healers, without a doubt. I also know that when sex is one of the centers in the body, the 7 major energy centers in the body, and sex is one of them. So when you've got all your centers functioning and you're exercising every part of you, you're a more whole person. You know, I'm a vibrant, virile man. You know, I've got punch, and a lot of that comes from my sexuality. And I spent 9 years as a celibate in my 20s, so I understand what happens when you cut off your sexuality. I'm understanding of that tremendously, and I know the difference. What no sex does, what sex does. Now, if you want to go up high, you can give up sex, and your energy goes up. But if your energy is already up, why go up more? The success, power, influence, achievement, accomplishing your goals, get up in the morning with zest, that comes when you bring the energy down. Sometimes to let go of stress, you bring your energy up. Relax, open up, energy's going up. And there's a variety of tools and techniques for doing that, and there's tools and techniques for bringing it down. And one of the most powerful techniques for bringing it down is to feel love and affection for someone and to make love. It's just, our country, America, is so tight, so puritanical. We have no idea of the jail that we all live in. I think every American should just go spend a month in Paris. Go to France, where the people are liberated, and see what it feels like. You know, you walk down the street, You see people kissing in the park, French kissing in the park. There's passion. The kids are all playing. People walk by. Nobody notices anything. It's perfectly a normal part of life. Men treat women with enormous respect and adoration, and women love men too. It's like the love is unbelievable. Their love to them is more important than all the achievement and the success that we have in America. But why not have both? That's what I have in my life. Lots of love, lots of romance, and lots of success. It's learning, it's a balancing act, learning to juggle all the balls.
Well,
and anybody can learn to juggle. Just give me a good teacher and you can learn to juggle.
But that's what I want to ask you. Is there anything you want in your life? Anything at this point your goal is for?
Huge. I always have more wants. Huge goals.
What would they be?
Well, where I'm moving towards, I got 3 books I'm writing this year. I've got the book Practical Miracles. I've got From Mars and Venus. I've got a book called Search for Healing Power. I've got a book called Mars, Venus in the Workplace. They've been asking for that for a long time. We've already got trainers teaching Mars, Venus in the Workplace. I don't have a book for it, so I got to write that book. And then I got another book called Miraculous Prayers. That's just on the book level. Then I've got my internet site, huge. It's going to be the source of information for people to come. MarsVenus.com, the best place for relationships on Earth. The best place on Earth for relationships is our word. And what it is I've done over 50 hours of studio quality videos of all my books. And we have a search engine, and people can go, and all they do is go to the site, write in a question, it will search the answers, and pull it right then, and they get videos streaming down. And not just all my video stuff, but I've got a library of other experts throughout this century. Everything on video of experts throughout the century is at my site. So you ask a question, and you're going to get, you can push a button, you want John Gray's answer, you want Freud's answer, you want Jung's answer, you want Adler's answer, you get all the answers, anybody you want. You get what are they going to say, and you get a video of it. It's fantastic. So that's an information site. And one of my down the line, not that long from now, goals is my power center. Part of where I got my power, my healing powers, is traveling around to various places in India, various places, the Philippines, places, Israel, Jerusalem, Egypt, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru. I'm sure there's others I haven't been to yet. Very powerful places, and there's beautiful traditions in each of these places. What I've done is dedicated my life to understanding these traditions, to find the underlying theme that works in all of them. You know, I can tell you the 12 verses of the Lord's Prayer and put it right up with a Celtic prayer, and it's the same prayer. I can put it with another prayer. It's all the same stuff. Everybody who was enlightened or teaching a message was basically, in different words, saying the same thing. So I'm going to create not a Disneyland, not an Epcot Center where people just go and look. It's a place where people actually go and experience the power of these different power spots. I will create the power spot.
Right. But ultimately for yourself, after you do all this in the world, what do you want really for John Gray?
Oh, what do I want for John Gray? I'm always getting what I want.
But is there any enlightenment, ascension?
I was enlightened at 28.
So is there anything you want ultimately for yourself? I mean, or you...
let me just speak about enlightenment at 28. So many people are like seeking enlightenment. They're already enlightened. They don't get it. They're so used to their state they're in. Self-realization. I'm seeking self-realization. They don't understand. If you live in America, you're born self-realized. That's all you think about is yourself. Go to another culture, you'll see that people don't think about themselves at all. They think about the community. They think about the group. It's a group consciousness. So the old days of learning self-realization was being able to say, well, who am I? As opposed to everybody else. Every American knows who they are, and they're very unhappy just being themselves. They need to find a balance. So we don't need self-realization. We need is love. So enlightenment is an easy thing. And one day people get enlightened in my class. What the person walking out of one of my classes in one day is achieving what would take someone a lifetime to achieve if they were lucky at previous times. Everything is accelerated, just like computers have accelerated everything. Internet has accelerated communication. The communication with the divine right now is also accelerated. Powers which are unimaginable before, growth which is unimaginable before, is now possible. However, you don't just get it. You've got to have a teacher. You've got to have somebody who's already there. Just all they have to do is touch you. It's just the jumper cables. Just hook up the jumper cables, show you the way, and once you can feel the energy, you can invent your own way. See, what I see is I could do anything I do. I could do 10 different ways. There's no just one way, but you find a simple way, and it works. Like I have certain hand movements. I go like this, and it does a certain thing. It's a certain prayer associated with that hand movement. Okay, right there. Here's another one. Another movement right here. Let thy will be done through me. Right here, through this one. Here is like, use this to send me your divine energy. This one. This is prayer. Hear my prayer. What do I want? Say what you want. You're talking to the great power, God, whatever you want to call it. So there's so many different modalities and tools and all the different cultures. And once you understand the truth, when you understand the truth, then you see it everywhere. I see it on the walls of the Egyptian tombs, the same stuff Jesus was talking about. And why not? After all, Jesus grew up in Egypt and in India, went there. You can see the places he visited here. You know, he was a big person. Anybody who knows the truth sees it everywhere. If somebody thinks they have the only truth, they don't see the truth.
Okay, so sort of in conclusion, I mean, I appreciate. Hello, test. You got it? Loosens up. There it is. Okay. Got it? Okay, you can also see it on here. Okay, good. So in conclusion, just let's pull Swami into this a little bit and all the work you've done in your whole lifetime, and just see where we're going as a planet, and people like you and Swami, where the direction we're heading as a planetary consciousness. That's sort of what I want to know.
Well, I think where we're going in a planetary consciousness is, instead of having a few really fantastic, great people, we're going to have as a whole planet of really fantastic people. I don't see myself above anybody, and everybody I meet has the same potentials I have. I have the more skills. I've devoted my life to developing these skills. Now what Swami has, he's a little exception to the rule. He's specialized. He's like a brain surgeon. Not everybody can be a brain surgeon, but everybody can be a John Gray. And I can do miraculous healings. I may not be able to do all the other stuff he does, but that's the practical stuff. I mean, one thing is to walk on water. It's a completely different thing to walk on earth in peace.
Is there anything particular Swami is bringing, you feel?
What the beauty of what Swami brings, and what he brought into my own life, is when he put his hand out to heal a friend of mine. He says, look, he rubbed his little fingers together like this. He pulled up his sleeve, did this, rubbed his fingers, and out plopped in my hand like a big drop of water, huge splash of water, and it was dry ash. It smelled like perfume. I went, wow. And I said to him, how do you do that? He just smiled. I said, can you teach me? He says, you're hungry, I will serve you a meal. Now, he's teaching me to do that kind of stuff. That's not, everybody doesn't want to dedicate their life and time to figuring out some of that stuff. That's more brain surgery. But what he gives people when he demonstrates those miraculous powers is it opens your mind to recognizing there are more possibilities in life than you thought was possible. There are forces that you cannot see that will come to your aid if you ask. And it's all about, unless you believe, you can't pull that energy in. So when you get demonstrations of God's power working to heal someone, and you see it just like that, then you believe. And when you believe, that's the doorway. Unless you believe as if miracles are really possible, they don't happen in your life.
Actually, you said in your book that because of Swami, science will start to come up with new ideas and new theories of matter and energy. You said something like that in your book. Do you remember that? It's like we'll be able to take the demonstrations Swami has shown people and create new scientific theories about the materialization of matter.
What I'm describing when I say that watching his demonstrations of miracles, not something that's 2,000 years ago or 300 years ago, but a guy right now just tossing miracles left and right. What that does is it gives us a basis to study how it's done from somebody in our language. We can talk to them, we can find out, and we can start measuring. Already the devices are there. I can aim my hand and send magnetic energy to a device I have at home, and it will measure, the meter will go up. It's not heat energy, it's magnetic energy, and that's the energy that I send into people. I can be in another room and think about the machine, and I'll tell them, I'm thinking about the machine now, sending my energy. I put a little rock next to it, and I'm sending my energy to the rock, or anybody standing next to it, and the needle goes up. It's amazing, and I can take, pyramids that are in little metal pyramids, which magnify energy. I can send my energy into that, and it'll start to spin at a distance. And I don't do anything compared to what this guy does. He does amazing, amazing things. So what he does is you see that, you go, wow, this is wonderful, this is amazing. And when your mind opens, you're able to pull in the healing energy. And it's different than when I go to see a famous magician. You know, people might think, oh, John Gray, he went to see this guy, but he's still being fooled. Doug Henning was my best friend for years, who was the first famous magician in this century, who brought back magic and did Las Vegas shows. He was the first one to bring the whole thing back. I was backstage. I know how all the tricks are done. My brother's a magician. I understand all that stuff. So I know how to watch. And it took me months to become convinced that when Swami did this stuff, that it wasn't any trick. I was even traveling with him. I looked through his suitcase to see what's happening. None of it. It just, he does it. And so that opened my mind. And he even told me, he brought me around on my journeys, around India at least, to other miracle people. Because he says, good for you to see it. The more you can see it, the more you believe it's possible, the more familiar you become with it, and then you're able to pull that energy more. And I know it has certainly had a profound effect on me. And even hearing about it, even for people that aren't able to see him or do it, but just to talk to somebody who's actually seen it, you start opening your mind. Maybe it's possible. What's beautiful that I do for people, which is, even if they don't see the big miracles or whatever, just any healer, natural energy healer, if you feel the energy flowing, you go, wow, this is amazing. I'm feeling better already. Something is happening. I'm praying, I'm asking for something, and I'm getting it. It's such a beautiful experience in life to feel I don't have to do it all myself. See, I'm a self-made person. I did it all myself, and I used to struggle a lot until I just got that I haven't been doing it all myself the whole time anyway, and I don't have to do it all now either. And I noticed that whenever I struggle, it's simply, and all the people who struggle, they're like people who have a wonderful car, new car, fantastic car, full tank of gas, and they're ready to go on their journey. They start up the engine, they get out of the car, and start pushing. You don't have to do it all. All you have to do is sit behind the wheel and drive. You know, ask for help. Every day, ask for help. Plan your day. What do you want to do? And then ask for that energy to do it, and you have the energy to do it. This is within every human being's power to do it. And they need help to do it. It doesn't just come automatically.
Do you think we'll actually live in a world where everyone knows that, and that will be the way we function as a society? Is that possible?
Yes, it's happening now. Do you know, since Men Are From Mars came out 10 years ago, divorce rate now has gone down. It had been consistent since 1970. For 30 years, 50%. 50% of people getting divorced. Now it's 20% reduced. In this last year of the last millennium, it reduced by 20%. I predicted it, and I predict even more great things. This is, you know, all these things, terrible stuff's going to happen. Ridiculous. It's huge, all ridiculous.
It's just getting better, isn't it?
It's only getting better. It's just getting better. That's the world we're going to be creating right now. And not everybody will enjoy it. Not everybody will be there. Some people are like slow learners. They refuse to change. They refuse to open up. They want to justify their pain. I don't need help. I'm not going to do it. That's hogwash. That's baloney. I remember when I started teaching, some people would be in the back row there just to prove that I couldn't help them. And you know what my mistake was? I tried to help them. I don't care about those people. God bless them. Suffer. They want to suffer. Let them suffer. But there's 80% of the people are ready to go. Right. Now, everybody has the capacity, but some people, their choice is to be miserable. They will not believe there's a way out, so they don't do anything about it.
So any final words in the sense where you can just give people like just a little zap of what they're, I mean, you've done it throughout the whole interview, but just something real practical, like, anything, just like a little like, here you can talk to the cameraman and just go right into some real practical 1-minute exercise or something, just to plant a seed in people's minds about, just...
One of the most important shifts you can make in your life right now is to recognize that your personal power can only come through if you do what you love to do. If you make sacrifices, if you let other people rule your life, if you let other people tell you what to do, if you live your life to please other people, and you don't do what you want to do, what makes you feel good, what you love to do, then you've disconnected from your power. And if you blame somebody else, like, oh, I can't because of so-and-so and so-and-so, you're just fooling yourself. You can always be yourself. Even if I'm locked in a jail, I can be myself and make the best of that situation instead of feeling like I can't, or someone did that to me. Whatever happens to you, it's your life, and you have the power to change it. And any energy you put into holding on to, well, I can't because of this, and I can't because of this. You're wasting your energy. Instead, start thinking, what do I want? And start being open to the possibilities of change, and change will occur. All prayers get answered, but you have to persist, and you have to keep your heart open, and you have to make changes to forgive, and to love, and to meditate, and to realize you're not in this world alone, and to pray every day, to pray, and to do it intelligently. Update your skills. Update all your skills. If you get a new computer, you have to update. You have to update. Realize that everything in the past has value, but it's all out of date. So you take what's good and you update it with what's happening right now. This is what is the basis of creating practical miracles in your life.